As the merry-go-round debate over immigration reform continues, the president on one side, Republicans on the other, one thing remains constant: detentions. On any given day, up to 34,000 undocumented immigrants are held in ICE detention centers across the United States. But how much do we really know about immigrant detention? Unless you've dealt with ICE, chances are very little. ICE is the second largest law enforcement agency in the country. It says that its main purpose is to, quote, find and remove illegal aliens who are criminals, fugitives, or recent arrivals. There are 250 detention facilities, and in 2013, ICE deported a record 438,000 immigrants. The thing is, most detainees who are deported aren't criminals. Of those who have been convicted of a crime, almost half were for non-violent offenses like traffic violations or illegally re-entering the country. In fact, only 9% of those deported in 2013 actually qualified as Level 1 priority as defined by ICE. I talked to Rosalio, who was locked up in an ICE center for 7 months after being pulled over on his way to work.
La verdad, la mayoría de las personas, la mayoría de mis compañeros, todos tenían más de 10 años. Mucha gente tiene sus 2, 3 hijos, su esposa, de su trabajo. Para mí, principalmente, lo que más afecta es en la familia, que están separando muchas familias.
So why does ICE even lock people up if they're not criminals? Well, they say detention ensures that immigrants don't miss their deportation hearings. Each detainee costs taxpayers about $161 a day. The alternative, like remotely monitoring immigrants, costs between 17 cents and $17 a day. And the alternatives are still 93% effective in getting immigrants to appear in court. Opponents of detention centers say that they are worse than prisons. While prisoners get legal counsel and a quick and speedy trial, ICE detainees don't. In 2013, 83% of immigrants deported never even saw a judge. Detainees report poor conditions in ICE facilities, a lack of medical services, allegations of abuse, and being treated like criminals.
If you had an argument or you talk back to a guard or something like that, you were cuffed and you were chained up at all times around the facility. Like if you were, a killer or something, you're chained up on your legs and your feet. You would go in segregation, which means you were locked up 24 hours a day.
So how has it gotten to all this? A huge push to detain and deport immigrants came in 2004 when ICE launched Operation Endgame. The goal? To deport all, quote, removable aliens within 10 years. That was followed by policies of mandatory detentions, mass fingerprinting, and increasing partnerships between ICE and state and local law enforcement. Like in 2009, when Arizona passed a law requiring police to ask for papers from anyone they suspect don't have them. That's led to not only more deportation and detentions, but open racial profiling. And remember how I said that there are up to 34,000 ICE detainees at any given time? Well, that's actually a quota that became law in 2009. Critics believe that that mandate is what has seriously ramped up detentions. Who benefits from these aggressive policies? Private companies. In 2014, 62% of ICE detention facilities were run by private companies. The two biggest ones are CCA and the GEO Group. The more detainees there are, the more profit. And companies do their fair share of lobbying. Senator Marco Rubio got more than $27,000 from the GEO Group in 2013. And that same year, Rubio led the Gang of 8 in writing immigration reform. But it's more than just quotas to fill and profits to be made. We're talking about people, 11 million to be exact, with families, jobs, and futures. So, is detention and deportation a realistic way forward for immigration reform? And at what cost?
I remember my eyes were almost about to cry.
There was a hint of embarrassment, to be quite honest.
I realized that my silence was not protecting me.